The rent is high because you guys keep paying it. The rent is high because you guys keep paying it. People from Wisconsin, Minnesota, whatever, come to cities like New York, LA, Miami. They're willing to pay $3,000 to $4,000 for literal a shoebox that has no closet and no window. They complain the entire time. They don't want to get on the subway. They don't want to buy the fruits from the people off the side of the road. They're willing to pay these outlandish prices to live out their little fantasy. They leave, and they leave the rest of us to deal with the consequences of the inflated rent prices. The rent is high because you guys keep paying it.
Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Do you agree with it? Is the rent high because you in the city that you're in continue to pay for it? I disagree, but I want to hear what it is that you have to say on the matter, especially if you're a renter. The only thing I ask is you guys don't take it personal and don't attack anybody personally as I present information to you all to make the case for home ownership for the 6 out of 10 of you that will buy. Historically, that's what the numbers are. This is why I make the case for home ownership, because at the end of the day, he that has the goal makes the rules. And I know a lot of people are upset about rental prices increasing to the point where they think it's unethical, and folks feel like they should have a right to living a certain way. And I agree to an extent, but I don't agree with the mindset that you are entitled a certain level of living if you don't want to pay for it. And so that is the goal of the video. Let me restate: to make the case for home ownership for those of you that might be on the sideline that want to own, and then moreover, to sound a trumpet, an alarm, if you will, for those of you that want to rent, to let you know rent is going up. It's not going to stay where it has been. And the further we go in time, the acceleration of the increases are going higher and higher, because they have trained most of you to believe that you want somebody to handle everything for you.
And look, in today's world that we like right now, bro, rent is so high, man. Like, if you paying cheap rent, you better keep that crib, you better keep that apartment, you better keep it. Like, real talk. Like, people nowadays, bro, they paying so high for rent. Like, I was going house shopping, apartment shopping and stuff like that. Them folk looked me dead in my face and said this, bro. Yeah, to stay here is $1,500. To stay here is $1,800. To stay here is $2,000. To stay here is $2,200. Like, I'm talking about, bro, it's crazy. Even if you got that amount of money in your savings account or bank account or whatever, you gotta make 5 times that. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, okay, I got the money to stay here, but you gotta get 5 times more of that. You know what I'm saying? Like, that might not include water or lights, Wi-Fi cable. You might not even got a washer and dryer in that place. You probably got to go to the laundromat or the laundromat at the place, because that's what they do. They got laundromats at the place. Like, it's crazy, bro. Like, I feel like if I'm gonna pay $1,500 or more to stay somewhere, I gotta at least have something. I gotta at least have a wash and dryer. I gotta at least have space, peace. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can't do it, bro. Now, don't get me wrong, bro. The place is gonna be spectacular, cause they building them like they building new places, new apartment complexes like every so often. So it's gonna look amazing. But do you have the things that you need up in there? Probably not. I mean, not all of them, but you know, you got to think about it, man. You gonna be paying $1,500 or more. Then on top of that, you got a light bill. That's probably gonna be high. You got Wi-Fi cable. You got water bill. You got sewage trash. You got all these other bills on top of that. You paying more. Like, it's crazy, bro. Do they even make places where it's affordable to stay in? Like they must think that everybody in the world just got money stuck up their butts, you know what I'm saying? And every month they get to pull it out, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's crazy, bro. If you do and then on top of that, bro, you paying all that money for something you cannot keep. That was really bothering me. So you telling me I'm paying $2,000 in rent and I ain't even keeping this crib? Like, if I miss one payment, I gotta get out. But you crazy, man. I can't do it.
Let me answer your questions, man. Let the OG help you out, young bruh. First and foremost, yes, there are affordable places for you to rent. But as you stated, you don't want to live there. You like how nice the place is where you're living is. And that's what I find more times than not. When people are saying that there's not any affordable housing, what they're really saying is, I don't want to live in what is coined affordable in whatever area you're in. And this is another reason why you guys have to determine sooner rather than later how you are going to either increase your purchasing power if you want to continue to rent, because as you can see, the rent prices are going to continue to go up because it's a business. No one cares that's running a real estate portfolio about how ethical it is. It's just what it is. No one has ever cared. That's a fallacy. It's a business. So you're either going to have to increase your monies to where you don't feel what it is that you're paying for, or you got to get onto the property ladder in a level or in an area where you can afford it to eventually be in a place where all you're dealing with is taxes and insurance over a period of time. And what I mean by that is once the home is paid off. Moreover, to your point, when you're making these payments, you actually have something that you can tap back into equity or rent the place out over a period of time. Because right now you're trading your dollars for a service, all the stuff that you aforementioned. Second thing I want to address for a lot of renters, I may have been a little premature in calling renters entitled in a previous video that I did. But the more I talk to renters, the more I'm understanding it, that you don't have the understanding from an investor's mindset. And this is what I mean by that. As a landlord, I'm providing shelter. If I provide washer, dryer, swimming pool, gym, lawn services, those are amenities, a la carte, extra, and those come with a cost. The cost is always passed along to you. Period. It's a business. If you don't like it, you gotta buy your own. And so I think those are a couple of things that he hit. One other thing that I just want to clarify, it's not 5 times the rent. It's typically 2.5, 3 times. The reason for that is a lot of you all, from a renter standpoint, are saying, hey, I have the money to pay the rent. You don't have any extra money for anything else, such as your car payment, your student loans. If anything extra that comes in, this is where the 2.5, 3 times rent comes from, because you're not even thinking that way. You're just thinking, hey, I got enough for this rent. That's not how it works. And so this is why these things are put in place, as well as for us as a landlord to make sure that you can make said payment when life happens. So hopefully that makes sense to those of you that are renting. And there's always a point of diminishing returns, right? At some point in your renting life, you're going to say, you know what? I'm going to continue to rent because the service makes sense and I have the ability to handle it. Or, you know what? I need to find a place that I can lock in the principal and interest and start building equity for myself. And a lot of times that happens when a life event happens. We have another video on the channel that goes into the reasons you should buy a home. And none of them have to do with what most people talk about online. But when those reasons happen, then you're ready to put down some roots, so on and so forth. So this next video that we're going to review deals with an elder person, because the younger you are, you don't have the mindset, the concept that if you keep living, you're going to be older as well. So let's check out this next video, see what she has to add to the conversation. And as always, guys, not saying that I'm the end of the matter on any of these topics. Feel free to weigh in if you see a point or an aspect that I might be missing, so that I can continue to learn as well. We thank you in advance. Let's check it out.
When I lived in Boise, I first moved out from Northern California, and I moved to Boise and looked at all the rentals that were available so that I could move out of my brother's house. Not a good situation there. I found the rents really inexpensive. Again, comparing it to Northern California. And I wasn't employed at that time. That was the thing I was looking for while searching for an apartment. And I had no problem finding something reasonable. I think I paid $600 a month for a 1-bedroom upstairs, directly downtown. And it was walking distance to where I did find a job. I ended up getting a vehicle and settling down, and I lived there for several years. What happened within 2 years is that Utah Mormons came into Boise, bought a property, built apartments, and ended up setting the rent level almost twice as much. And there goes affordable housing for individuals. And it's been that way ever since. In fact, it's doubled again. They don't mind building all these apartments because people are moving in or moving out of their parents' house. Their parents have to help them with the rent, or they have to have a roommate. Sharing a 1-bedroom, that's really tough. Janet and I are very fortunate that I was living, when she moved out here with Jayla, our Yorkie, and we added 3 more. My rent was in reason for a house. And I was the one who raised the rent throughout the years. I was there 18 years. And yeah, I did because it was fair. It was fair to my landlord. And when Janet and Jayla moved in, I increased the rent by $400 to cover. Mainly at that point, because I knew his bitch wife would complain unless she got a lot of more money. She's a shrew. God. So Janet and I invested in a new home, paid cash. She sold her house, paid cash. It was 1,300 square feet, and a two-story condo. And we have that as a rental, and we bought this big house. And we got in just before the prices got jacked up again. So they are now making it impossible for people to buy a house. Not only are they sucked into having to rent because they can't buy, but the rental market is so high they can't afford to save up to buy a house. So they are literally imprisoned financially.
Okay, so I want to cover a couple of things that she said. And the reason I wanted to show her next is, again, you're going to get older, okay? But let me peel back the onion a little bit, because everybody wants to demonize the landlord. But she mentioned a group of people, I think she said the Mormons, where she was living or where she had moved to. So here's the deal. Let me back up a little bit. Northern California, a lot more expensive than out in Utah. So a lot of you guys today are looking for markets to move to where the cost of living is lower, not knowing how to really evaluate that. I'm going to do a video coming up here pretty quick, so you guys want to make sure you subscribe to the channel. But a lot of these states, Mississippi, Oklahoma, Kansas, West Virginia, they always pop up as some of the lowest states to live in. But when you look at variables such as the state income tax, when you look at the local tax on goods, when you look at the unemployment rate, these are not good places to live in if you have to work. Because as she stated, the last video that we looked at, when she moved to the place, it was $600. But then when the competition, regardless of the name, you know, she mentioned the Mormons, but some folks came in, they noticed an opportunity, and they're like, folks need housing, we're going to provide it. And then they also adjust the rate and the area. You see, I said it earlier, I'm going to say it again, and this is even applicable to me, especially when you're younger. You have to stop kicking it so much and start building a nest egg to where you can put your money somewhere where they can grow and inflation isn't eating it away. Remember, when I was a pharmaceutical rep, one of the disease states that I represented pharmaceuticals for was, hypertension, and strokes in the early morning hours were caused by blood pressure. Well, they call BP, blood pressure, the silent killer, because you don't feel it. Your body adapts, and over time, and then one time, boom, you got a stroke, right? You have a heart attack. And a lot of people don't wake up. Well, inflation might be more detrimental than that, because you don't understand why it's taking more of your dollars to buy the same thing. This is why the same house costs more. A lot of people are stuck in that loop. That's the same house. Why does it cost more? Because it takes more dollars to get that house. It's tied to inflation, and you have to get in the game. You're playing a different game and complaining, and it's not working. I digress. So to her point, when that group of people came in, created business, built those things, prices go up. Same thing's going to happen when you guys are trying to run to Mississippi. Okay, then can't find a job. And it doesn't matter how much the home taxes are there, because you got state income tax and other taxes that you have to deal with. So you have to be able to look at the whole picture. And the root, as my mama would say, to the whole problem is income. Got to find a way to be more productive. Everybody's not struggling, right? There's blue collar workers out here. Things have changed. Hell, I might have to go get a job, but I'm willing to. You see what I'm saying? The mindset that you like, I'm an American and we deserve this and we deserve that. I don't know where that came from. Because if you go anywhere around this planet, maybe you need to travel some. We are blessed and highly favored. We can do stuff that nobody else can do. Maybe that's why we had a mindset that we have. And that's just a little extra commentary. But if you noticed, before I move forward on this video, she mentioned that she was able, or I don't know if it's her partner or whatever, but someone was able to sell a house. Boom, a house. Somebody had a house that they could liquidate and then move to a lesser cost of living, because as you get older, makes sense. But then now she's a landlord. Now, she didn't go into say how much she was going to charge, because again, when you're a buyer, you're greedy. When you're a seller, you're greedy. When you're a renter, you're greedy. When you're a landlord, you're greedy, as far as what people say. And I don't think you're greedy. It's just you're trying to get the best for you. And very rarely do you find someone that's going to take a loss just to rent you a house, even if you're young, because you're not their children. That's something mom and dad could do. Also have a video on the channel that shows how if you have a family member, okay, and they need to help a child, if you will, or an elderly parent that can't afford a home. Now, on the conventional loans, you can put down as little as 5% plus your closing costs and help people get into a home if you can manage that debt. Well, maybe the mindset is, hey, I don't want to be a landlord, but I could be a landlord for a family member of mine and help subsidize their rent. Now, see, that makes sense to me. You looking after your people, not necessarily everybody else's children, but your children. That's a whole nother conversation. So as we get ready to move forward, hopefully these things are making sense. If not, and you disagree, I'm going to ask you to comment, but provide some solutions as well. Don't just fuss because you're renting and you feel stuck, because I've given several solutions in the video. If you think I'm wrong, please let me know where I'm wrong and how I can get better, how I can see things better. And not only will it help me, it'll help the whole community. And I thank you in advance. So as we get ready to move forward, I think we're going to watch this young man, and then we're going to move to the next video.
My rent is going up almost $300 a month, okay? I'm confused. I'm lost, dumbfounded. Everywhere in my city, everybody going up in apartments, okay? These are just one bedrooms. I pay $1,100 a month for one bedroom right now. If I resign my lease, it'd be $1,300, okay? Not including maintenance fees, not including all the utilities and all that stuff. But it's all said and done, I'll be spending $1,600, $1,700 to live there, okay? When it's all said and done. My thing is, what do these landlords think we're making out here? Okay? And if I'm not making all that kind of money like this, I'm a truck driver. As you can see, I'm in the truck right now. Truck drivers don't get raises, okay? We don't get raises. I barely made enough to make 3 times the rent already. But now it's just going up. I don't know what's going to happen. I make $4 grand a month. I don't know. Well, I make that, but after taxes and all that, you know how that goes. It's about 36, something like that. I won't be able to afford that place anymore where I live at right now. So I got to move. I'm probably considering living in my truck, maybe. Might get a hotel rooms on weekends. If I get a hotels on weekends, I spend $580 a month just for Saturdays and Sundays. That saved me a lot of money, over $1 grand a month, just doing that. Cause I'm gone most of the time anyway. But my big concern is I don't know where these landlords, how they think we out here making all this money to raise the rent down high. We got layoffs going on, and the federal workers are getting laid off, and it just, things gotta change, you know. I refuse to pay that much for 1 bedroom, so I'm not doing that. I've been looking around my city. A lot of folks moving in the city, so I guess, you know, supply and demand is what raised the prices up. But I've been in my city my whole life, and they trying to push us out. I'd rather be straightforward and say that. We're gonna push everyone that's a native of this city, who's born and raised here. We're gonna push y'all out and want everybody to come in here and say raise prices. I'd rather be straightforward and just say that, okay, than just raising prices and we just all confused, all right? I mean, it's just crazy.
Young brother, I understand, man. I feel what you're saying, and it could be frustrating. So let the old man, let OG try to give you a little insight into what's going on. And I'm going to start with the latter. A lot of us have lived in cities for generations now. And I'll use New Orleans as an example. Very familiar with it. And you've had people that have owned homes for years and years and years and years and years. And what happens is a lot of these areas are declining. Just keep it a buck with you. And so America is capitalism, point blank, period. And every neighborhood, every home has a lifespan. This is a concept that a lot of people don't understand. And this is why I'm always challenging you to understand that there is no place where you could go and just chill. There's no retirement. No house lasts forever. You have to maintain it. You got to occupy until it's your time to get up out of here. You got to endure to the end. And so back to these cities and what I'm speaking of, a lot of these folks and places are being gentrified. Not saying that it's the right thing to do, but the only reason gentrification can happen is because the incumbents, you're not gentrifying your own place. We don't own these places. I'm on here all day, every day, trying to encourage, first and foremost, folks that look like me, but anybody that's wanting to buy and get in. I don't have a problem with anybody else, but I love myself, right? And so I have children and things of that nature. They homeowners are working on, one's a homeowner, one's working towards that endeavor. And so this is why these things have happened in these cities, is because we dropped the ball, respectfully. Now, I don't know if it's too late, but we can only start where we are now. We can't keep looking in the rearview mirror, and we got to quit saying they and the boogeyman, and I got to look at me, right? There's a lot of things Robert needs to do, and I'm reevaluating some things just personally, right? Talking time is over, and you judge a tree by the fruits that it bears, right, according to the scripture. So it's about that action. We got to get to it. You see what I'm saying? And so one of the biggest things that I can drop or leave with you, man, is you're gainfully employed. Appreciate you working. We need more men working, right? But what's your budget look like, bro? Young brother, what's the budget look like? Are we paying too much for a car? Are we buying stuff that gives endorphin hits or signals that we're doing better than we are, and deferring the stuff that deals with accountability and long-term investment type things? These are the things that we need to get better with. And it just starts day by day. So get your budget together, see where your money's going, make sure your credit is straight. And I'm with you. Renting for me, is my mindset is for a season. I don't know if you're trying to get a wife and make some kids. My daughter was telling me the other day that folks talking about having kids, Who's going to take care of them? That's a part of it, right? I get it, but you can't keep living in 1990 or wishing to go back to 1990 because we ain't going back that way. We got to go forward. And so again, hopefully these types of videos, when I react to them, it's not to shine on you, it's to shine a light and then provide solutions. That's what my community does as well. So you guys hop down, help the young bro out, help young folks out that might feel dismayed and discouraged. I got some young adults that I'm dealing with right now, but we about that action. Here's the plan. We got to get the budget together. You kicking it too much. Stay at home as long as you can. That means you're going to have to discipline yourself. You know, the flesh might be hollering. Discipline your flesh. That's a discipline is something that permeates every area of your life, right? Help out around the house. Be a blessing because you're able to live less. And then in that less opportunity, don't trick your money away. Save it. Invest it so that when you do go out on your own, you can be successful. That's the plan that we're implementing. It's not sexy, but it worked. You feel me? So if you got something else, let the old man know so I could pass it on. If the community has something else, let us know so we can help one another. If you're one of those 6 out of 10 people that say, you know what? I feel what you're saying. I've rented long enough. I'm ready to see what it is that I can afford so I can get onto the property ladder the right way. I would love to have that conversation with you. I'm a lender. My NMLS license number is 180100, and my contact information for a free home loan consultation, 15 minutes, is in the description and the top pinned comment of this video. Y'all be good to one another. Let grace abound. Watch these next 2 videos on your journey to home ownership. They'll continue to educate you. And for the rest of you guys, indeed, y'all stay blessed.